The Brave Escape, a story from the Book of Acts. In the bustling city of Jerusalem long ago, the early followers of Jesus gathered to pray, share meals, and tell others the good news of his resurrection. Among them was Peter, one of Jesus' closest friends and a courageous leader of the church. But not everyone welcomed the message. Some powerful rulers saw Peter's growing influence as a threat. One day, King Herod, wanting to please his allies, ordered Peter to be arrested. Soldiers dragged Peter into a dark, cold prison cell and chained him between two guards. Heavy iron gates locked him inside. The other believers were heartbroken when they heard the news. They gathered in a house and prayed earnestly for Peter, asking God to protect him and set him free. The night before Peter was to face trial, he sat in his cell, leaning against the damp wall. Though his situation seemed hopeless, Peter wasn't afraid. He prayed and trusted that God was with him, no matter what would happen. Slowly, his eyes grew heavy and he drifted into sleep. Suddenly, a brilliant light filled the prison cell, waking Peter with a start. Standing before him was an angel, clothed in dazzling robes. The angel touched Peter's shoulder and said, "Quick, get up." To Peter's amazement, the heavy chains that bound his wrists and ankles fell away with a loud clink. "Hurry, put on your sandals and cloak," the angel instructed. Peter obeyed, his heart racing. He wasn't sure if he was dreaming or if this was truly happening. "Follow me," said the angel. Peter walked behind the angel, glancing nervously at the guards, but they didn't stir. It was as though they were in a deep, unshakable sleep. The angel led Peter through the prison, past one iron gate, then another. When they reached the final gate leading to the city, it swung open on its own, creaking softly. As Peter stepped into the cool night air, the angel vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. Peter stood in the quiet street, looking around in awe. "Now I know for certain," he whispered to himself, "that the Lord sent his angel to rescue me." Peter hurried to the house where the believers were praying. He knocked on the door, and a servant girl named Rhoda came to answer. When she heard Peter's voice calling out, she was so overjoyed that she ran back inside without opening the door. "Peter is here," she exclaimed. The others looked at her in disbelief. "That's impossible," they said. "Peter is in prison." But Peter kept knocking, and finally they opened the door. When they saw him standing there, free and unharmed, their mouths fell open in astonishment. Peter raised his hands to quiet their excited chatter. "God has heard your prayers," he said. "An angel came and led me out of the prison." The room filled with shouts of joy and gratitude as the believers praised God for his mighty power and faithfulness. Peter stayed with them for a while, sharing the story of his miraculous escape before moving on to continue spreading the message of Jesus. From that day on, the believers knew that no prison, no chain, and no king could stop God's plans. They grew bolder in their faith, sharing the good news far and wide, just as Peter had done. The end.